Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful week. We continue with the Primetime STEM Festival mentorship sessions. My name is Lucia Kosiafiadunu and I am your host. The mentorship sessions are aimed for giants in the STEM industry to share with our audience their prospects, their experiences in the fields, and to give us the guidance they may need to reach their highest potential, as well as help us to discover and develop our interests and innermost passions. We are proudly brought to you by Absa Bank Ghana Limited with support from Joy News and Joy Learning. We are live on STEMfest GH and NSMQ Facebook pages. I also have a number ready for your thoughts and your questions. Please keep them coming through on phone number 0555 818 2870. My apologies, I take the number again. It's 055 818 2870. Let's hear from our sponsors and we will be here right back to continue our conversation.
That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Today, the question is no longer, why do we have problems? But rather, how can we spin those challenges into opportunities? This is the revolutionary mindset we, students here at Academic City, are driven by. Academic City, we believe that the challenges of today are nothing like the opportunities of tomorrow. Hence, we're poised for the future. And so we say,
come join us.
Pakuli.
Yes,
Oyai Tibatane.
Zafra Mabia.
Yenu William.
Brave Kayan. How? I'm going to start Shaman Doja.
As we lead the charge to empower the next generation of future leaders. Academic City University College, redefining university education.
Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So shop, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Every other day I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks in the check.
Join the ABSA family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. Log on to absa.com.gh. No long tail. We like them simple and easy.
Believe me, no long terms in my life. Like I'm simple and easy.
Welcome back. The conversation continues and we have a familiar face. Today, we will be interacting with Ohemaa Adjei Andoh. We did so last year. It was superb. And this time around, she has something even special and exceptional with her life, going on in her life, which she will be sharing with us. Ohemaa, how have you been?
I'm fine. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. Great to see you again.
Great to see you too.
Right. I mean, you know what we're about and what all of this is about. And so we'll not waste much time. We'll go straight into telling us the wonderful story and the new updates that have come on the line that we're itching to hear about. Please, we're all ears to hear from you.
I'll do that. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes. Please, you can go ahead and...
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, great. So my name is Ohemaa Adjei Andoh, as she has already said. And today I'm going to be talking about nurturing tomorrow's generation of STEM leaders. I believe we all know what STEM means by now: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So the overview of what I'm going to touch on is who Ohemaa Andoh is, my career journey, the career prospects that, I can highlight, required skills to thrive, not just in this career space, but you can actually apply this in your personal lives, my achievements, the importance of mentorship, how mentorship has assisted me to get to where I am today and how I'm using that to help other people. I'll talk about the challenges that I've faced and how I've been able to overcome them. And then my little advice to the younger ones based on the things that I have experienced. So who is Ohemaa Andoh? Ohemaa Andoh is a pretty woman from my picture there. I'm a daughter and a sister. So I've put this in order of how it was achieved, right? So I'm a daughter and a sister. I'm a Christian. I attended Achimota School. That's the only basic to senior high. So I'm a black and white blood, a true Motowner. I'm an Akorafu blood. I then went on to KNUST to study geological engineering, after which I joined the oil and gas service industry for my national service, and then they kept me on after that. So I was with them for about 6 years as a cementing and stimulations engineer. I'm a wife. I'm a mother to 2 adorable children. I'm a transformational coach. And I'm currently taking my MBA with the University of Suffolk. I'm an entrepreneur, and then I'm an author of STEAM all around us, which I'll touch on later. So let me share my career journey. I don't know if any of you watched me last year. I touched on this a little bit, so I'm going to touch on it again today. So basically, after my time in KNUST, during KNUST actually, I was recruited to do an internship with Schlumberger. That was after my 3rd year. So after that, I came back to school, and during my national service, they reached out to me that they would want me to join them for service. So I joined them, and after service, they kept me. So clearly I was doing something well. So on there, I joined them as a cementing and stimulations engineer. And from this, somebody will say, you said you studied geological engineering, right? And that is not cementing or stimulations engineer. So one thing about these industries is that most of the time, if they need an engineer, they are going to train you to do what they need you to do. So they will just need you to have the basics in engineering, to have that engineering mindset and an engineering understanding. But then when they recruit you, they are going to train you in exactly what you want to do. And actually, cementing and stimulations engineering wasn't far off geological engineering. As we know, geology is a study of the earth, right? And everything that is down there. So most of the time in school, you realize when they are teaching you is geared towards the mining sector. That is what most well, during my time, that was where the focus was on mostly. You would do a course on petroleum geology, but that would be just a one semester sort of thing. But most of the time, the focus would be in the mining sector. But that is not the case. With geology, anything down there, you are fit to try it out. Okay, so fortunately for me, I got the opportunity to join them. They trained me. They took me through all the trainings that I needed to do my job. So most of my jobs were done offshore. By offshore, I mean in the middle of the sea, like offshore, right? On water, basically. Offshore is on water. So most of the things that I had to do was dealt with deep sea drilling. So as a cementing engineer, what I would do was that when you're drilling the well, when they drill the well, which the drilling engineers would do, we come in to make sure that after they have drilled the well, all the materials in the formation doesn't cave back in. So when I say formation, it's basically the ground. So it's like drilling water, right? Like borehole drilling. I don't know if any of you have seen this before, or if not, after this, just go online, just Google in offshore, and you would have videos of how it's done. So we don't see what is going on under the sea. Clearly, we don't go there ourselves to see it. But then that's the power of technology, right? So we have machines that do this. We have remote operated vehicles called the ROVs that do this for us. So it goes down there and it monitors everything that's going on down there. So I'm in a cabin up there behind my computer. I can see everything that's going on. We have our lab guys in the lab testing the chemicals to make sure that, okay, we are pumping cement. It's not the cement that is used for building our homes, right? We have a special type of cement for this. So we are pumping cement into the formation. Then again, I said formation is basically the ground. You've created a hole in it, so now you can see the different layers if you look in there. So that what we do as cementing engineers is that we don't want the rocks or the materials after you've drilled to cave in. Because if you create a hole in something, right, and you don't put something in there to hold it together, it tends to fall back in. We don't want that, because we need that hole created so that our whatever we are drilling for can come out. That's the whole point of drilling the hole. So we put in a casing, and then we pump cement in the casing we pump cement in the formation to keep the casing in place. We don't want the casing to be moving around as we are working. We want it to be in place. So we pump the cement, and then based on the test that we have done, we determine the time that we want it to become hard. Because you don't want a situation where you are pumping cement and it gets hard midway. You want everything to go down there. So there are lots of things that comes into play when we are considering these things. That's what a cementing engineer does. Basically, it's very, very, very interesting. And as a stimulation engineer too, now you've drilled the hole, we've put the casing in place. You want to drill, you want to take out what you are looking for. It could be oil, it could be gas, it could be water, like what you need to take from the formation, right? And you've spent a lot of money to drill this hole, so you want to get as much as you can from that particular hole. And that is what we call stimulating. So it's the same English, stimulation, how you understand the word stimulating. We are stimulating the formation in the way that it brings out everything that we need. So we create holes in the formation that we've already cemented. And when you create a hole, what does it do? It causes it to flow more and flow easily. That is basically what stimulation engineering is. That was my responsibility as a field engineer at Schlumberger. And then I went on to start Girls in Science and Technology, GIST. So Girls in Science and Technology is a foundation that advocates for women in STEM. During my time on the field, I realized that there were very few women, very, very few. There were times where 200 men, I'll be the only lady, like very, very few women. So I kept wondering, what was it? Is it that people don't want to be this, people don't know about it, or what? So I started talking to people in other fields, and I realized this was a problem in a lot of STEM fields, right? So I decided to put together Girls in Science and Technology to show representation. So you realize the thing is, people don't know that there are opportunities like this out there for them, and they've not seen other women do this. And I really believe in when somebody sees, like when there's representation out there, you see it, you can think it, and then you know that, oh, I can actually achieve this, I can become this. Because when you are looking on your screen today, you are watching me, and Ohemaa was a cementing engineer, Ohemaa was a stimulations engineer. You've seen a woman who has done this before, right? So you know that, oh, it's possible, like people are actually doing this. Apart from seeing representation, it's also to put some of these jobs out there. I didn't know about cementing engineering, I didn't know about simulations engineering, I didn't know about plastics engineering, I didn't know so many things, and I keep finding out new professions. So this is why I started Girls in Science and Technology, just so that we would put the careers out there and we would show representation. Then I went on to start PM STEAM Educational Center. So PM STEAM Educational Center is, let me start with what we started with. So we started doing robotics and coding with kids, both boys and girls. So I realized also during my time on the field that there are some men who do not know how to work with women in the same space. Like they feel they want to put a limitation on what you, the woman, can do on the field, basically. So you realize this comes from upbringing, it comes from exposure as well. So I believe that if we groom boys and girls from their early ages to work on projects together, not the normal classroom setting where we are all seated behind and it's theoretical and everybody is just doing their own thing. With this, you're actually doing hands-on activities. You're working together in groups, you're communicating. By this too, we are building their communication skills, their leadership skills, their problem-solving skills. That is what PM STEAM Educational Center does. And also we organize STEAM Fest. So you hear me saying STEM, STEAM, don't get confused. So with STEAM, the A in there stands for arts. And as kids, we want them to build on their creativity. We don't want them to lose it as they grow up. So there's something called STEAM Fest, which we started this year. We had it in March at Accra, the Du Bois Center, where I had about 16 organizations come on board, my team and myself, where we gave people hands-on STEAM experiences from all these organizations, and it was opened to parents as well. So we are putting STEM out there, we are putting STEAM out there, and parents don't even understand what it is that we are fighting for, right? We are preaching on STEM, STEAM, and the parents don't know what it is you are fighting for. We're talking about the STEAM, we're talking about the STEM, and the parents don't understand it. We need the parents on board to be able to push this agenda. So that is why we have STEAM Fest. STEAM Fest is open to students, it's open to parents. And this year we had about 600 people attending. And we had a talk where the parents were able to ask their questions. How do we guide our kids? What is this STEAM talk about? Who do we go to? Who do we talk to? And it was amazing. And let me put this out there before I even start my presentation. To me, STEM or STEAM is more than just a career. It's a mindset that you need to apply in your everyday life. It doesn't matter which career that you find yourself in. When I talk about this mindset, I mean you identify problems, you come up with solutions, right? You become an entrepreneur, you communicate with people. You're not supposed to solve things by yourself if you don't know the solution to it. Some people have the talent of identifying problems, but not coming up with solutions, and that is fine. Others also just see the problem and then they come up with a solution, but they do not know how to identify these problems. So that is why I believe we all need the STEM or the STEAM mindset. We do not have to limit it to a particular career. Okay. Okay, so that's it for PM STEAM Educational Center. Now I'm going to touch on a few, this is just a drop in the ocean. I'm just touching on a few, okay? So if you have a dream, don't just sit there. Gather courage to believe that you can succeed and leave no stone unturned to make it a reality. I believe that if you can think it, you can do it. Once you're consistent. There are so many times that we all want to give up. It happens to everyone. You keep asking yourself, is this even worth it? Like the struggle, all the no's you're getting, is it worth it? You just have to believe in yourself, believe in the dream, and keep pushing, okay? So some of the few prospects I'm going to mention: the oil and gas industry, the cementing engineer, which I've talked about. We have the logging engineers, we have the drilling engineers, we have the exploration geophysicists, we have the geoscientists, we have the maintenance engineers. There are so many, like endless opportunities. The electrical engineering, there are so many things out there, like so many careers out there. All you have to do is research. Please, now we have access to phones, we have access to the laptops, to the computers. Just make sure that you research a lot. Even as parents, we are not to say that force your kids to go into a particular career, no. But sometimes you identify some interest in your kids, and based on the limited exposure that you have to these careers, you limit them, right, to what they should do. But trust me, you can find that somebody knows how to draw, and someone says, I don't want my child to go into visual arts, or this, that. They can be personally, I always say this: if I had some form of I did have guidance in my life, maybe I would have become an architect, because I really loved to draw, and I didn't get the support that I needed with that, right? So this is also a reason why I keep pushing and pushing and pushing. That look, there are so many things out there, so many things that we see on TV, that we read in papers. So once you identify these interests, please do well to research. Okay, so to my next. The required skills to thrive. As I mentioned earlier, these are not just limited to your career. It's something that you can apply in your daily lives as well. So personal branding. Personal branding is, if somebody mentions your name in a room, what comes to people's mind? You mentioned Ohemaa's name. What are people going to, what are the attributes that will come to being mentioned? Ohemaa, like who is Ohemaa? What does Ohemaa do? What is going to be attached to the name Ohemaa, to the brand Ohemaa? I'm a brand. So people usually think that brands are just companies, right? Or organizations. No, you, the human being yourself, the face yourself, you are a brand. So what comes to mind when people mention your name? What are you known for? And it doesn't just come. There are some people, you mention their names, and people, when we mention Professor Kaufman's name, your mind goes straight to National Science and Math quiz, right? And we know, when we mention her name now, we know, oh, she's an engineer, this is what she does, she encourages people, she's into STEM. It is a brand that she has built for herself. And she's been building this brand for years. So when I talk about personal branding, it's not a one-day thing. It takes time. Recently, my mother-in-law saw something in STEM, like girls in STEM something, and she just called me, hey, when did you go to St. Louis? And I said, I didn't go to St. Louis. She said, oh, when I saw the STEM on TV and I saw girls, I thought it was you. Sometimes people see STEM news on TV and they think I called the name STEM. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, I came to meet it. But because they see you do so many things in there, that is the brand that you've made for yourself. I know my brand, so there are things I say no to because this doesn't fit what I'm trying to put out there, what I'm pushing. It may be good for someone else, not necessarily that it's a bad thing, no, but it is not what I stand for. It's not what I'm pushing for. So know yourself, know your brand, build your brand. Be intentional about it. All the things I'm going to mention here, it doesn't come easy to anybody. You don't wake up and it just comes to you. No, we are all being very intentional about doing these things, okay? So communication skills. Now you have a brand. You've entered a room. You're supposed to talk to people. You're supposed to communicate with people. Communication skills is not necessarily just having a face-to-face chat with someone, okay? Even how you text people. Who are you texting? You should know who you are texting and what you're texting to the person. Sometimes you can just open a message from someone on LinkedIn on Instagram, wherever it is, and you would know if I want to respond to this or not, based on the energy that you are getting from it, the way the person is communicating to you. So you have to build on your communication skills as well. And you have to be intentional about this. The way I will talk to my friends, the way I will talk to some people at home, or that is not how when in the professional space, that is not how I'm going to talk, right? So you just have to know how you communicate and where you communicate, how you communicate, basically. Just be conscious when you are talking, be conscious when you're presenting yourself. Now, leadership skills. So when people hear leadership skills, they think you have to be the head of something to be the leader. At every point in our time, in our lives, you would have to lead something. It doesn't have to be an organization, but it can even be a project that you decide to do. Even in a conversation that you're having with someone, you would have to lead at some point. So you should be able to lead things. You should be able to initiate things. That's what leaders do. As a leader, you should be able to listen to other people as well. So leadership skills is more than I am the head of this particular thing, this particular project, or anything like that. It can't, as a leader, you're a follower. We are not, to lead something, there has to be followers, right? So to lead something, you have to be working with other people. And at every point, you need these people. You have to listen to these people. You should know when it's okay to bend rules because we don't know everything. You should know when it's okay to take on people's opinions if it's going to suit whatever it is that you're doing. So you need leadership skills as well, and networking skills. Like, it's very, very, very important to network. You need to make connections, okay? So you'd ask me, how do you network? Sometimes now people basically use social media, and I'll keep saying this. LinkedIn, when it comes to your professional networking, please don't sleep on LinkedIn. I keep saying this whenever I'm given the opportunity to talk because I know how valuable LinkedIn has been for me. When it comes to networking skills, please use your LinkedIn profile very well. And don't just go and create a profile there and leave it blank. Someone will say, oh, I don't have anything to put there. But every day you have an activity that you do. Every day you go to work. Every day you meet people. Every day you have an idea. It doesn't have to be that you've gone for a program. It can be an idea that you can elaborate on with just a post. So you have to be very active on your LinkedIn pages when it comes to your professional life. And if there are people that you are looking to attract, please make very good use of your LinkedIn. So just today, somebody sent me an email requesting me to come and speak at an event in October. And I realized the person had just checked out my LinkedIn. You know, sometimes it gives you a notification of when somebody looks at your profile. So I think somebody recommended me to the person. But before they reached out to me, they went to check, okay, so what is she doing? So we go on your link, there's an opportunity. I go on your LinkedIn profile and I see nothing there. What do I get from that, right? So please make use. And someone will say, oh, I'm just a student. There are students who are doing amazing things on their LinkedIn profiles, not university students, senior high school students. And I see these things, I'm like, wow. Like, I wish I knew this earlier on. And there are a few names that I have in mind now, just because of the things I see them do through their LinkedIn, right? So if an opportunity is to come up, I am going to look for this person. That is how you get people's attention. So please, as much as you are using your Facebooks, your Instagrams, your Snapchats, do not sleep on your LinkedIn account. So adaptability. You need to be able to fit in wherever you find yourself. During my time in the oil and gas service industry, there were times where I'd find myself working in Nigeria, you'd be working with people from Ivory Coast, Senegalese, from the US, so many people. You would be traveling and you meet different people with different cultures. But you don't go there with, hey, this is how I am, so this is how I'm going to do things. That is not how it works. You should be able to adapt to things and to situations. You should be able to adapt and blend in, okay? Because I keep saying this, you are not going to work alone. It's always going to be in a team. So you should know how to work with people and work effectively with them, and by that you should be able to adapt. Apart from the people, even the environments that you would find yourself in. I remember I always say that people laugh when I was going when I got my letter that I had gotten a job. My first role was in Nigeria on a vessel. And I didn't know anybody I knew guys who had been on the vessel, right? I didn't know any lady who had been on the vessel, so I didn't really have any conversation with anyone before I went. So I went with my yoga mats and like all these things because I was feeling cool, thinking I'll be doing my exercising and doing, like, I thought, I was just going to chill there small, work, chill small and enjoy. My dear, please, I was and I realized, wow, I have to share a room with a guy. I have to share the bathrooms with guys. I have to share like everything with guys. Because basically, if we're like 60 people on the vessel, I was the only lady. Okay. So I would have to work with these people and live with them. I had to adapt. It wasn't easy. But I keep telling people you have to be able to adapt, not just with people, but in environments as well. The food that you would be given and all of that, you should be able to adapt. Teamwork, I believe with everything I've said, I've touched on teamwork.
Absolutely.
You are going to be working with people. Unfortunately, I see now things are changing. But during my time in school, it's you and your paper, like you and what you're supposed to learn. Exams, it is you and you alone. It's during the university third final year that you would have to work in groups, but by that time we've already developed like I can do this alone attitude, and it doesn't help in the workplaces. If we are being honest with ourselves, we find this in our workplaces sometimes where some people just want to do things on their own. Like to them, they want to get some praise, like I did this, I did that. But if you do your work well and someone doesn't, it's a group thing. It will affect everyone. No one will say that this person did it well, so the team is going to get it. No, it affects everyone in the group. If there's going to be a delay, it's going to delay everybody. So you are supposed to be able to work in a team, and that you would also use your communication skills there and your leadership skills there as well. Emotional intelligence, it doesn't come with age. It's something I have realized. That emotional intelligence does not equate to being older. Old doesn't mean wise. I've come to accept that. You have to be very intelligent about the way you handle things, how you respond to things, when you respond to things. You need to be very careful about this. Sometimes you feel like, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should have said this. But what would that lead to? How is that going to help the situations that you find yourself in, right? So be emotionally intelligent to know when to let go and when to actually push through for something. Visibility. With visibility, the same thing I'm going to touch on is the use of our social media platforms. So there are people doing amazing things out there, but we do not know because we do not see them. So if you are doing things and you want people to engage with people, or you want people to engage with you, you have to be seen. We have to see what you're doing. And do not wait and say that I'm waiting to do something very big before you realize that I've done something so I can put it out there. Gradually, you realize sometimes you start a project, you put it out there, and then people come in with ideas. But it goes two ways. It can be distracting as well, where there will be too many voices in your head that you might lose focus.
Yeah.
So you have to know exactly what it is that you want when you're putting yourself out there, so that you wouldn't lose your focus, you wouldn't lose your direction too much. But basically, put yourself out there so that people who are looking for you will find you, and the people who you are looking for will find you as well. So continuous improvement. We all get to a point where you think you have arrived, and you know everything it is in your industry, you know everything it is in your field, like you are a guru in your space. But I don't think there's anything like that. There's always room for improvement. It could be you doing short courses, it could be you learning from other people. Like, we learn new things every day, so you should just be open to learn new things. I hope I haven't. Okay. So my achievements in 2022. The most splendid achievement of all is the constant striving to surpass yourself and to be worthy of your own approval. So one thing I have realized is a lot of people put so much significance on awards. I've been awarded this, I've been awarded that, and someone will say I'm doing this and nobody's giving me recognition for that. No. You know where you started from, and you know where you're going to, and you know where you are at now. So you should be able to appreciate yourself and give yourself vim to move on to do more. So this year in March, I mentioned that I organized Steam Fest. It was a big success, and that is something I'm proud of for the year. And recently, I released a book for kids, STEAM All Around Us, a storybook that basically talks about science, technology, engineering, arts, and math in simple terms for our young ones to understand. I related it to the things around us, the everyday things that they see around us. So these are two things that I'm proud of doing this year. I believe it will get better. So let me move on to the importance of mentorship. We are here for a reason. I believe the reason is to throw little torches out to lead people through the dark. Whoopi Goldberg said this. So I've been saying this a lot, and I didn't know it was a saying. I found it today. So one thing I believe in us throwing our lights, right? So you get to a room, a dark room, one person shines their lights. Yes, it gives light, it's okay. Two people shine their lights.
Right.
You realize now the room is brighter. 3 people, 4, 5, 6, wow. Like then you realize, wow, like this is good. The place is really bright, okay? So don't think that you want to be the only person shining in a room. And by doing that, you expect to dim other people's lights. No. I believe to make the world a better place, we all have to find our lights and shine our lights. If we all want to get the best out of people, we should be able to support these people to bring out the best in them. It might not serve you now, but it's going to serve generations to come, and you don't know who from you would enjoy or benefit from that. So I really believe that it is good to shine your light and to give people the chance to shine their lights as well. So you feel that you can have an impact on somebody. You do. Don't just say, no, I struggle to figure this out for myself, so the person should struggle to. No, please. Let's just all try to find our light and help others find their light. For me, basically, mentorship has helped me in so many ways. And the funny thing is, these are not people who were, like, I wouldn't say they were mentors I could call on a phone. These are people I observed from afar. Right? So I'm having this now. Somebody will be watching this and the person might never even see me. The person might never actually meet me in person. But there might be a statement that I'll make here today that would impact the person's life. That was how mentorship was for me growing up. There were so many people I looked up to. It was later on in life that I got to encounter with them. But their way of life, how they carry themselves, it just influenced me in so many ways, and it helped me know the direction that I wanted to go to and how to be persistent and consistent to get there. So even as you're living our daily lives, you don't know who your life is influencing, okay? So as a mentor or one who seeks to impact on other people, we have to be very conscious about how we live our lives. If you cannot see where you're going, ask someone who has been there before. So I have reached out to people I see now and admire. Like, I'll mention names like Prof. Kaufman. I reached out to her on LinkedIn and she was great. She's able to, I talk to her once in a while. I have a project, I can share it with her. She was like, oh, this is good. Like, you know, sometimes you need these things to know exactly where you are going. I just reached out to her on LinkedIn. It wasn't through any connection. Reverend Joyce Ayi, I actually put a post out on my Instagram saying that if in Instagram or LinkedIn, I don't remember where, but saying that if anybody knows her, I would really like to be connected to her. And that was how I was connected to her. when I'm doing a project, sometimes I talk to her about it and she gives me the green light, or she would say, do this, take this out, do that. These are people who I didn't know from anywhere. I reached out to them because I've looked up to them for quite some time and I'm still looking up to them, right? So you don't have to wait for people to find you. Sometimes you have to take the step. You know that I need help from this person. Take the step. What is the worst that can happen? That the person will not mind you. Then you are back to point 1 or point 0, right? But what if the person actually helps you?
Yeah.
Then it takes you some steps forward. So please don't be shy. And before you go looking for people or, sliding into DMs, make yourself clear. Be very clear and specific. I always say this. The hello, highs, stop it. Go straight to the point. Please. You just imagine the number of hello, highs they receive in their DMs in a day. I didn't have time to respond hello, then you come back, how are you doing? Then they'll come, I'm fine. Like, no. Go straight to the point. You know exactly why you are communicating or reaching out to this person. So please do well to go straight to the point. They say, show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone.
Hello. Ohemaa? I think we've lost Ohemaa for a bit there. Let's take a quick message from our sponsors. Oh, you're back. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry. We will continue. We lost you for a bit there.
Oh, okay. So should I go on?
Please do.
Okay.
Awesome.
So show me a successful individual and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering you on or showing the way. A mentor. Denzel Washington said this, and this is very true. It can actually be someone like your parents, your siblings, your friends. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone in a very, very high authoritative position. It can be people that are close to you who cheer you on. Okay, so please be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. These are the people that you would be sharing ideas with. These are the people who say, oh, great, go on, keep doing it. And some people will say, are you sure? Can you do this? Hey, I don't see it like you can do it too. I say, no. Please be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. Let them be people who push you to do good things. It could even be by their actions, right? What they are achieving will push you to achieve great things. So surround yourself with successful people. When I say successful people, not necessarily materialistic things, right? But even in the mindset. There are people who have successful mindsets. So associate yourself with these people and move. So the mind is not a vessel that needs filling, but wood that needs igniting. So there are so many ideas that comes into our heads, like every single day, that we brush aside, right? Talk to people about these ideas. Work on these ideas. That is what mentors are for. And let me just say this, you don't have to know your mentor. It is great if you know your mentor. Then it is the best if you know your mentor. But some people do not have that opportunity. Okay, don't let that limit you. Admire them from afar, study them from afar, and eventually you will get there. You will get to a point where they'll be right next to you, and you'll be able to talk to them because you've worked hard for it. That is how mentorship works and the influence that mentors have on our lives. Let me talk about some personal. I mentioned Professor Kaufman. I mentioned Reverend Joyce Ayi, but I'll take it back to my teachers, right? In fact, to my mom, to my sister, they've always been pushing me on. To my teachers, how my teacher would encourage me. I remember going to study science in the first place. I wanted to do visual arts. A teacher sat me down, spoke to me. He's called Mr. Kisei. I'll never forget him. He spoke to me and said, Ohemaa, I think you should go into science. you can do it. It's not difficult. It's not a big deal. Like, I feel you should do that. And it will give you with that, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And that was the first advice that has led me here. So listen to people who try to advise you. Surround yourself with successful people, and you, the mentee, just make yourself accessible in the way that people would want to advise you. Now, some of the challenges that I've faced. So challenges in school. And let me say this. As I mentioned, I put slides together for some ladies last week. And that's when I realized that when people ask me about my challenges, I have to think so hard. At a point, I felt, is it that I've never faced challenges in my life? Like, have I had things so rosy? But I realized that wasn't the case for me. So the things that some people will call challenges and then it would stop them, that wasn't it for me. If I face a challenge, it's been something I've stepped on to move to something bigger. So at the end of the day, I haven't really seen it as a challenge. I just saw it as something that needed to happen for me to learn. I never saw it as something that stopped me from doing anything. Most of the time, I really find it very difficult to pinpoint the challenges that I've had. But let me say this. So challenges in school, basically, you know how people have this, I think I've discussed this with you before. People have this perception about engineering students when you go to the university, right? Like, they want to see you and you are dressed some way, you know, you're not looking good, you're not presenting yourself well. And I remember my first time in KUST, me going to register my courses. I got there and the lady said, this is not the social sciences. And I went like, what makes you think I'm going to the social sciences? And she looked at me like, because I'm wearing my gladiator sandals. That time, color blocking was a thing. I'm holding a bag that matches. You know, I had color block. That was looking good. Like, I'm coming to the university. I'm a big girl. So basically, she just saw me and I'm dressed up with my nails fixed and all that. And to her, like, I don't belong in the College of Engineering. You see, with this, it would intimidate someone, but it wasn't a problem for me. Like, it is not my problem. It is your problem. It is what you have in your mind, or how you have created. You have created an engineering student in your mind. Then again, same university, there was a point where we wrote a mid-sem exam. Sandra was in my class, actually. Abna was in my class. So I remember meeting Sandra, and she told me, Ohemaa, the TAs are looking for you. So I met other ladies as well. That was our first mid-sem exams. I met other ladies and they kept saying, oh, the TAs are looking for you. So apparently when the ladies get there, they ask them, are you Ohemaa? Like, when you get there, they ask you, are you Ohemaa? Because Ohemaa topped in that course, right? Like that mid-sem. Ohemaa had the highest score. I got there and nobody asked me, are you Ohemaa? Because Ohemaa is looking good. So Ohemaa can't be the one who studied to top. So I got there and I mentioned my index number. So he typed it in and he looked at me and he goes like, are you Ohemaa? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, yes, I'm Ohemaa. Just then, you know, everything, they changed. Other TAs came in, you're doing so well, keep it up. And I'm like, wow. So in my head, I'm like, wow. And it's not like I was just looking good, decent. But I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. I'm taking time to look good. So with that, like, I can't be an engineering student.
You have
because
too much
we don't
time
have
on
time
your hands. Yeah.
You get it, exactly. Yeah. So with the offshore challenges, and with this, later on, some of my course mates, the ladies started to dress, you know, to look good. Because you realize, really, like, how many minutes do you spend behind the mirror? It's me, I'm the last person you find spending. I can't even stand behind the mirror for a long time. But it doesn't mean that I should come looking just anyhow, right? So later people realize that, oh, now they were dressing, looking good to come for lectures. And it was nice. We have my offshore challenges. I mentioned a few, being the only lady. But at the time, I don't think, it was more of a, should I say, privilege to me that I was there. It wasn't really a challenge for me. I wouldn't say it was a challenge for me. There was a point where there was a time where one of my colleagues was like, since you are the lady here, like, come and sweep the office. And I'm like, you dirtied the place because I'm the lady here, I should come and sweep. I really didn't understand the correlation between being your colleague and coming to sweep. It was quite confusing to me at that point. But I just told them I didn't make that mess, so I don't think I should clean it. When I make a mess, I clean it myself. So please do well to clean it. So these things, I wouldn't say were challenges, right? If you've had the opportunity to be there, you are paving the path for other people to have access as well. So if you are there, based on how you behave, how you adapt, it will determine if other women will be given that opportunity. So it's more of a privilege to me that you are paving this path for other people to come. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but it wasn't a challenge. Yes, there are times where, of course, you'd be sad or anything, but I don't think it was something that really beat me down. Let me talk about the times where I had kids and I had to go offshore. Of course, I'm a mother. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be going offshore. It could be something as simple as even coming to Accra. I'll still feel like, I've left my babies at home and I'm coming. It's a normal thing for every mother and even father to feel. So I don't know why people would want to limit it to me being the mother, and you'd find people say that, hey, somebody actually passed this, and I'll never forget. And I'm like, really? Do you think you care about my child more than I do? You don't. And you think that if my child is not safe, I'll leave my child and come?
No.
Do you understand? So with me then I'll just give you my peace of mind. So it's not something that bothers me. I wouldn't call that a challenge. It's something that you just have to clarify for other people to understand. I'll just give it to you then we'll settle it, and that's it. So now, selling the STEAM idea based on entrepreneurship, we are still getting parents to understand the STEAM concept. We are still getting parents to understand the importance of this type of education for their kids. I've had some parents tell me that, you see, that is the mentality that people have. And I keep saying it is not necessarily about the robots that the child is building, but it's the skills that the child gets to develop as they engage in activities like this. So this is something that we are still pushing to get parents to accept, even schools to bring on board. These are things that we're doing. So fighting imposter syndrome. There are times where you achieve something and you ask yourself, like, did I deserve this? I don't know if it happens to, I know it happens to a lot of people, but there are times where you work and you achieve something and you ask yourself, did I really deserve this? Yes, you deserved it because you worked for it. I have to consciously tell myself when things like this pops up in my head. Sometimes an idea comes up in my head, I'm like, Ohemaa, this is too big. Like, there's something in my head saying that to me, right? But then I have to fight it and say, Ohemaa, you can do this.
You can do it.
So these are some, we'll call it challenges that I have had to deal with. Now, my advice to the younger ones. So you have to know yourself and your interest. If you do not know yourself, people will impose things on you. And then you will waste time doing those things later to find out that this is not me. So even before you start in any journey or whatsoever that it is, know yourself. Know what works for you. Know what you are interested in and know what you are passionate about. Do not let people impose things on you. It is okay to listen to people. It is okay to take on ideas. This can even actually help you to realize things about yourself. But you have to take time to know yourself, to appreciate yourself, and then you start your journey. Please, this is very, very important. Before you do anything, know that this is what I can do. Be honest with yourself. Sometimes it's painful, but be honest with yourself about the things that you can do, the things that you can do, the things that you are willing to do, the things that you're willing to learn. Okay, so know yourself and know what works for you. Be ready to learn and unlearn. There are so many things that we've developed that were not based on our own experiences, but based on experiences of other people. where we grow up, the society that we find ourselves in, even from home, right? So as people, there are some things that you should know that, okay, this is not like this. Like, I have to unlearn that particular thing. It's not working for me. And I have to unlearn this. That is when adaptability comes in as well. So be ready to learn and unlearn new things as you go on your journey. Build a personal brand. I've touched on this already. Build a brand for yourself. Be known for something. Be known well for what it is. Yes, so build a personal brand for yourself. Network. Please network. Build connections. Talk to people. Engage with people. Attend events. Just network with people around you. And see challenges as a redirection. When you face a challenge, do not let it stop you. It doesn't mean that, oh, you don't know how to do anything or you're a good for nothing person. No. That thing might not be serving you, but it is just a wake-up call. Sometimes it will actually serve you, but how you are addressing or attacking it is the wrong thing to do. So you just lay back and plan well and then address it again. So challenges that are just redirections. It doesn't mean you failed in life. No. You just sit down, realign yourself, reassess yourself, replan again, and then you move. That is what takes me to move. By all means, move. No matter how slow it is, make the move. Take the step. Don't let anything stop you. It can take years, it can take months, it can take weeks, it can take days. It's different for everyone. But just make sure that you are moving. And I say this a lot, shine your light. Wherever it is that you find yourself, please don't let anybody dim your light. Don't dim your own light. Shine your light. Somebody needs your light to illuminate their path for them to get onto their next step. So please do well to shine your light. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ohemaa. Great pleasure again, and a very interesting take on nurturing tomorrow's generation of STEM leaders, equipping us, nurturing us, putting us on the right path, and summing up nicely with Shine Your Light. It's just a cue for me remembering Marianne Williamson's deepest fear. It's not that we are inadequate. It's just that we are powerful beyond measure. And as we continue to let our light shine, we give others the permission to do the same, and the world becomes a brighter place. Let's hear quickly from our sponsors. We'll come back into a bit of a chit-chat with you, and then we'll call it a day.
Whoever you're doing it for, we'll help you get it done. Simply. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
question is no longer, why do we have problems? But rather, how can we spin those challenges into opportunities? This is the revolutionary mindset we, students here at Academic City, are driven by. Academic City, we believe that the challenges of today are nothing like the opportunities of tomorrow. Hence, we're poised for the future. And so we say,
Come join us.
Pakuli.
Yes,
Oyaye Tibatane.
Self-remedial.
Yenu Wejwende.
Private kind. How Amansa Shamedoja.
as we lead the charge to empower the next generation of future leaders. Academic City University College, redefining university education.
Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, schedule fit to overlap. So shop, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Every other day I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks, see they check.
Join the Absa family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. Log on to absa.com.gh. No long tail. We like them simple and easy.
Believe me, no nonsense in my life. No, like I'm simple and easy.
Welcome back. Ohemaa, we're back, and I mean, it's been such a great exposition going through the overview and point by point. Thank you so much. I just can't say anything but just say thank you for exposing us to these things and also sharing with us that challenges are just a redirection. And we see that this is coming up strongly from all of the mentors that we've had over, throughout the show. We're also seeing how soft skills so far, like you have mentioned, skills we need to thrive are, what you really need. And it then begs the question, where's the STEM in all that we're saying? Because not once have we mentioned anything about titration or any calculation on thermodynamics, etc., apart from when we mentioned the prospects. But then, you get what I'm driving. So where is it that we're just relegating the subject itself and saying that it's the soft skills that gets it there? Maybe just help us demystify this.
No, so that is what people have created STEM to look like, right? And now what we are trying to do is to let people know that STEM is a relatable thing. It is not something out of the world, okay? That is the only reason why we talk about it the way we talk about it now. We want it to be attractive. It's not all that you go to the science lab and so you see, why do they do these titrations? Why is there the calculus and all these things? Because there's a problem that they are trying to solve. Right? People first need to identify and accept that we do these things to solve problems. So what problem is it that people are trying to solve in the first place? So you have to and explain it for people to understand this. You are sitting behind seeing somebody doing titration. Why is the person doing that particular titration? What is it for? Once you understand why the person is doing what the person is doing, you would appreciate the process the person is going through. So that is what STEM is about. So STEM is basically about solving problems. Okay, being able to identify these problems and coming up with solutions. What do you need for these solutions? Is it the science that you need? Is it the technology around us that we need? But we are trying to let people understand that how am I even having this conversation with you now, Lucy?
Right.
I'm in Takrade, right? It's the use of technology.
Absolutely.
That this is possible now.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is what we are trying to let people understand. That when we talk about STEM, it is not something that is far, far away in another space. It's actually ongoing and it's around us. We are solving problems.
True.
Right?
True.
That is basically the concept that we want people to. We don't want it to be too big. So that's why I say that no matter where you find yourself, you can work with a STEM mindset. So whoever is in the chemistry lab has identified a problem, and they are using testings and the lab works to solve these problems. Just like a businessman has identified the lack of a particular service and has come up with solutions to do this.
No,
That
we're
is how
getting
we
it.
want people to see. That is how we want people to see the STEM. That we had this, I remember when I was small, I wanted to wear glasses so badly because I had this mentality that if you're wearing now where's my glasses? I actually have glasses now, and I don't even like
Want to wear them.
right. But you know, growing up, we had this whole idea, you know, you go to the lab, you are wearing your glasses. If you're not wearing the glasses and the goggle on top, hey, you are not smart like that. Do you understand? That is the mentality that we are trying to change out there. Day in, day out, people are using STEM and the STEAM. People are using it.
It is all around us.
So you train the kids. You train the kids this way. Now they grow up and they're not too scared to actually enter a lab. They're not too scared to work with the electrical things because it's a normal day in, day out thing for them. They are not too scared to talk to somebody that, I've got this idea, I don't know how to put it together. But maybe with your knowledge in electronics, your knowledge with mechanics, you can put something together whilst I share the ideas. That is what we are trying to sell right now when we advocate for STEM. We are trying to make it attractive and not scary, because it's not scary.
It's absolutely...
You just have to understand why someone is doing something.
It's absolutely not scary, and thank you for breaking it down for us. You've also shared with us the importance of mentorship and the fact that we can be in the back seat and still draw from people. But where does filter come into play?
Filter, I say.
Am I just drawing from them? Oh, I admire them, so let me just draw from them. Or you must have a system in place. You have a checklist of, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how I want to go
that you have
about
to
it.
know yourself. That is why I'm saying this, that you have to know yourself. What may serve person A might not serve person B. So you have to know yourself as a person. You have to find yourself, and it takes time to do this. Even we are still finding ourselves, right?
Yes,
as you
we
grow
are.
up, you realize, no, this is not for me. That is for me, right?
Yes.
So you have to take time to know yourself. I might be taking something from a particular mentor, but not everything. Me mentioning someone's name or saying this person is my mentor doesn't mean that the person is the person's life is what I'm using for every aspect of my life. It could be just one thing about the person that I'm looking up to. Right? Because we are all different people. We all have things that makes us special. Absolutely. But there could be something in one person that aligns with what I want to achieve. So if I'm talking to the person, I don't come with, you come and talk to somebody, someone will say the whole show. No, I'm not coming with the whole show. I've identified exactly what it is that I want to discuss with you, because this is it about you, that this is what attracts me to you. That is what I want to learn from you. So please, first and foremost, you have to know yourself.
Thank you. Knowing self, and then maybe not being able to come all the way to Takoradi and be part of PM STEAM Educational Center. If you can just give us, especially for our parents, that as we have heard from you, you actually shared with us that it is not scary. Our children, regardless of what interest they have, should still understand that STEAM is indeed all of us. STEM is indeed around all of us. And so with that mindset, we can go with, if you can just touch on modules, things that parents should be looking out for to speak to their children, and then maybe help parents at this time guard their wards, so that, all of us may not be able to come to Takoradi and join the PM school, but
yes.
We can have a takeaway from you from this.
Okay. So the first thing I'll say is, no matter where you are, if you reach out to me, I would find someone to direct you to, because there are people also doing amazing things who are not here in Tafade with me. So I always do direct people to the places that I know. Secondly, parents should read to their kids a lot.
Okay.
Read a lot to your kids, because they said, well, reading takes them to places that there's a saying about reading and the places where it, like, how it opens doors for children, their imagination and all those things. When it comes to STEM, it's basically you using your mind, right? So how are you developing your children's mindset? You have to read a lot to them for them to know the endless opportunities out there for them, so they can begin to actually dream of doing things.
Right.
And there are so many toys out there, even toys out, these Legos. These Legos out there, these robots out there, when it comes to building things, fixing things. You don't want them to be destroying your TVs and destroying your remotes. So please buy these things. Buy these things, these toys for them to be fixing, taking things apart, putting it back together, and encourage them a lot. So read to them. Buy the toys that are, is it open-ended toys? Like the toys that they can do so many things with, right? They can do so many things with these toys. So please do well to just give them space to be, and let's give our children space to be kids. Let them explore. Don't, yes, you know, sometimes we do stop this, stop that.
Put it down.
No, I know these things, right? Put this down, do this, do that. I know these things.
Right.
Let's give our kids the chance to be kids. Let's read to them. Let's buy toys that are engaging. Let's do activities with them. So go online, look for some simple fun science experiments with these kids, and just engage them at home, please.
No, thank you. And this one is for our parents. Please buy toys for us. Some are not that expensive. Your Rubik, even your Ludo or Wari, Die, they're all forms of learnings that helps them count, helps them strategize, you know, as simple as that, and will set us, you know, on their path.
And buy Steam all around us for them.
Yes, Ohemaa.
Buy Steam all around us for them.
I'm sure we can find the book in some of the stores here in Accra, following the Steam Fest session here in March. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes.
Awesome.
You can just reach out to me, to Ohemaa Adjei on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, you can just reach out to me and we can talk. Yes.
No, thank you so much, Ohemaa. Another wonderful session, conversation with you. Looking forward to having this with you again next year. Hopefully, maybe we'll have another 10. This time we'll have the books. We can actually have exercises or activities that we can actually do, because we are also growing, as you know, in terms of what we are doing as part of this advocacy, and all in all, nurturing tomorrow's generation of STEM leaders. This is what time will afford us today. We salute you for your good work, for the STEAM Fest, just like us, advocating for STEAM and STEM, you know, in Ghana and beyond, as well as the school that you have and the book, many more books to come in, encouraging young girls, especially with the GIST work that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Lucy. And thank you to your team and all that you're doing as well.
Awesome. Well, cherished viewers, this is what we have for today. We will be back tomorrow with another exciting session. We are live on STEMfest GH and NSMQ pages on Facebook. Do send your comments, do send your questions through on there. We're also on Instagram. Whilst we are away, you can also send your comments and questions to 055-818-2870, and we'll be pleased to have them all. Thank you again, and have a good evening.
Today, the question is no longer, why do we have problems? But rather, how can we spin those challenges into opportunities? This is the revolutionary mindset we, students here at Academic City, are driven by. Academic City, we believe that the challenges of today are nothing like the opportunities of tomorrow. Hence, we're poised for the future. And so we say,
Come join us.
Makuli.
Yes, okay.
Oyai Tibatane.
Zafula Mebia.
Bienvenue.
Brave Kanyo. Ow, I'm gonna start shaman Doja.
as we lead the charge to empower the next generation of future leaders. Adaptability University College, redefining university education.
Make I walk you through my everyday life. Busy from the morning light. My to-do list long, shadow fit to overlap. So sharp, turn on mobile app. School fees check, light bills check. Do I'm with speed like a G4 jet. Maybe at the day I am not upset. Check, I don't even use checks to the check.
Join the ABSA family and make fast, easy, and safe transactions with our digital products. Log on to absa.com.gh. No long tail. We like them simple and easy.
Leave me, no long tense in my life. Like I'm simple and easy.